Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I'm glad you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, SAITABOA Ole Kanchorry was a chief agent of RAILA Odinga's presidential campaign. Talk about Azimio One Kenya Alliance presidential campaign. SAITABOA Ole Kanchorry. You saw the footages the day Chebukati was planning to announce the result. You saw how SAITABOA Ole Kanchorry played in the chaos that ensued within the bombers of Kenya. He played a critical role in trying to make sure that RAILA Odinga became the fifth. But in a book that SAITABOA Ole Kanchorry has written, he says why Baba is not the fifth. There are so many allegations that he has shared in that book, and it's a book that I think each and every Azimio One Kenya Alliance member needs to go and look at. There are some fresh revelations which many people did not have. As far as we are concerned, most of Azimio One Kenya Alliance, the only request they have is that server to be opened. Of course, even George Joroge, who is the Azimio One Kenya Alliance ICT consultant, wanted that algorithm server to be opened. But what about the other details? There are other details which made sure that the confusion in Azimio's command center was noticed. So SAITABOA Ole Kanchorry says, and in an interview at one of the leading media sessions, he made fresh allegations. There are things I'd like to take you through regarding that book, the content of the book. Then maybe probably later you'll take your time to read the book. There is also a spy that was planted in Mama Ida's home in Karen. I'll tell you details about that spy. It's about 2 to 4, some few details I have about the spy. And also there's a part where Winnie Odinga was, blamed for some of the wrongdoings, but also we're going to tackle that. But first, let's talk about this SAITABOA Ole Kanchorry, the beans. He said there's a topic somewhere I read, SAITABOA Ole Kanchorry spills the beans. Before you get there, please take a moment and subscribe to this channel, and also give us a like, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that every time we upload such videos, you'll always become the first person to get notified. Now, Kanchorry claims that Raila won the 2022 polls, but gave away the victory in a tragic comedy orchestrated through lack of proper strategy and organizations of the campaign team and staff. That is how it starts. He goes further and says, elections in Kenya are neither won nor lost. They are taken. Baba gave it away. He won, yes, but he gave it away. Presidential elections are there for those who are prepared to take it. There has never been an election in Kenya in the last 20 years that has been won. All of them have been taken, Kanchorry told KTN. He goes further and says, not once did Baba and Martha personally join our deliberations, whether as National Chief Agents team at the command center or called to inquire the process. That is what he says. He goes further and says, it is not that the command center was not given resources, but the National Chief Agents team of 5, myself, that is Kanchorry, Oduor Ongwen, Dr. Karen Karungu, Professor Isaiah Wakindiki, and Paul Mwangi, was kept out of the command center. He continues to say so. Then he goes on and says, the confusion at the command center had been made worse by endless infighting and internal wrangles within the Azimio family. This staff wars found their way into the sensitive issues of agents, when with every Azimio strongman and woman insisting they must be the ones to provide the list of presidential agents. Kanchorry claims Professor Makao became a stumbling block in the operations of the party with no desire to win the elections. And then he continues, in the chaos of a crumbling command center, the sunny, distinguished Professor who had earlier been placed in overall command center, ended up being a blind, deaf, mute, lame mouse that sees no evil, hears no evil, says no evil, and does no evil. One thing I never once saw in Professor Makau Mutua was a burning desire to win the elections. Let me take you back a bit to last year, soon after the release of those presidential results. There were complaints leveled on Winnie Odinga. Some people said Winnie Odinga engineered the fall of Raila Amolo Odinga's presidential results, that Winnie Odinga could have mishandled the agents, could have mishandled politicians who used to come to current residence where Raila Amolo Odinga used to handle most of those meetings. So Winnie was accused of all those. But Raila Amolo Odinga chose to have Winnie Odinga because previously there were people who used to run away with Raila Amolo Odinga's cash which was meant for campaigns, and those were some of the reasons that Raila Amolo Odinga lost. But there is an analysis I did last year about a lady who was attached to Mama Ida Odinga's residence. And that lady was Terry Chocolate. There is an allegation that Terry Chocolate played the role of a spy. And I made that analysis in that video last year. I've decided to bring in Terry Chocolate because in SAITABOA Ole Kanchory's claims, I have not noticed where he mentions Terry Chocolate. I have not noticed where he mentions that there were spies who were planted in Azimio One Kenya Alliance Command Center. So the girl popularly known as Terry Chocolate within the Azimio One Kenya Alliance circles, or simply Terry, was believed to be one of spies from the rival camp who successfully penetrated Odinga's campaign. These details were revealed by one of ODM governors for the Luo Nyanza. And he says, this is the girl who will pull chairs from the house for us and serve us with juice or bottle of mineral water during the campaign period whenever we paid Baba a visit at his Karen and Opoda farm homes. According to the revelation, they say Terry comes from Siaya, and that's the truth. You know, I remember soon after Terry fell out with Winnie Odinga, she went public to declare her love for the Rutos. So that in itself raised the antenna in Odinga's campaign team. If this girl was trusted, used to serve juice, used to serve tea, you know, for the top high-ranking meetings which were held at Karen home or Opoda farms, then he is the one who used to serve juice, serve tea. Then it could have been possible that he could have had first-hand information on what was being discussed in those high-level tables. I made that analysis last year about this. Many people did not see that as being a factor, but in SAITABOA's claims, that only means that there were several spies. There's a time this year also I talked about Sabina Chege as being a potential spy who was planted in Raila Amolo Odinga's campaign team. You remember last year early there before, I think before April, before March there, where Sabina Chege was accused to be playing double standards, and there's a time she was asked to state her stand as to whether she supports Odinga or supports Ruto. But soon after, you know, kupotea for some time, she surfaced at a rally in Siaya and now announced her, you know, allegiance to Raila Amolo Odinga. But then again, soon after Ruto was pronounced the winner by Chebukati, as soon as she was given that nomination, she decided to decamp. That was enough indication that this could have been a spy within Azimio campaign. So two people we know, you know, about Cherry Chocolate Terry Chocolate, and Sabina Chege. These could have been potential spies if the details we have in the social platforms and in the public domain are anything to go by. So, in the book that SAITABOA Ole Kanchorry says about why Baba is not the fifth, these factors of spies cannot be left out. There could have been a reason why the command center was confused. That could have been because there were people who were planted there to cause that confusion, to say walikuwa wamewekwa pale ku sabotage hiyo issue yote ya campaign. That's why the command center appeared confused. That's why you find that Kanchorry, Ledama or Lesekina, both of them appear to be confused at the last days. There were total confusion and disconnect in these campaigns, and that the only people who were left to fight for Raila Amolo Odinga. So I could agree with Kanchorry, but the only part I find that Kanchorry is not talking about publicly is issue of Sava, and this is the only thing that can tell us what could have happened. That Sava, of course, elections are taken, not won. Raila has won in the past 20 years. Those 4 elections he has won, but elections are taken and not won. I think that's what I find that is very interesting in Kanchorry's claims. So, ladies and gentlemen, kindly share to text below that, the comment section there. And once again, I'd like to urge you to stay safe and stay blessed until we catch up again in our next analysis.